So today we start first the VS Code overview. Is anybody is not used any VS Code? We are using the first time. That session is advantage for that. Then we study the what is the Typescript, variable, data types, the lot more topics I have here enlisted. So one by one we can proceed further. First, for the development purpose, for Angular development purpose, we use a VS Code editor. It is a code editor, basically. So in VS Code, if you install your VS Code, it is a desktop icon is created here. You just open that VS Code, double click on that, the VS Code is open. The next job you have to done to point your folder, your manually created folder. Yesterday we discussed about the folder structure. Maybe you created the folder structure that is a front end is the one base folder, that is the main folder. In that folder, you have to create a two folder, that is the Typescript, and second one is a Angular. So initially we have to learn a Typescript. For that, your Typescript folder is pointed in your VS Code. Similarly, in your Eclipse, you called it as a create a workspace. Same functionality like here in a VS Code, but instead of a workspace, we point our folder in that VS Code. So in that folder, you created any files or any project, you can access it in that VS Code. That is the easiest way to use. So we can first point that Typescript folder in a VS Code. So for your batch, I'm created simply folder. Okay, I will show you later. First, we can learn how to use a VS Code and open the folder in VS Code. So file, open the folder, browse your path where you created your folder. So for example, in my case, I created the Typescript program. In that, you can JBK and corporate batch. Today is our day 2 folder, day 2. So I created the folder manually. Already I'm created the day 2 folder. Inside a day 2 folder, you have to select that folder and use the select folder button. When you select that select folder, that your VS Code instance is restarted. So your VS Code instance is a restart. Means previously open VS Code is close it and start with the new instance with the pointed your folder. So you can point your Typescript folder as well. What the procedure that I told here. Second thing, VS Code is a very easiest code editor, simple and lightweight. If you created any file and that file you have to save automatically, you do not need to save Control S, or you have to manage that files to save every time. So VS Code give the one more feature. There is an auto save option. If your auto save option is checked, your file is automatically saved after the 10 millisecond. After the 10 millisecond, it's file you save, so you don't worry about to save every time you use Control S, Control S. So if you not check that auto save option, by default is unchecked. You have to check that option. Then your file will be automatically saved after the 10 millisecond, every 10 millisecond. Okay. Then this is a project explorer. You can explore your project here from, you can just click on that, expand and collapse the facility is giving. If you have to search within that project, you have to search anything, you can just type here and you can search it. Is used for the source controlling. If you want to push your code to GitHub, or you have to configure your GitHub repository in VS Code, you can configure from here itself. Yeah. For configuration purpose, first you have to configure your GitHub account in your machine, and then you can initialize that repository here itself. This option is a debugger. if you want to debug the application, you can use debugger, but for the TypeScript and Angular, we don't require any debugger as such, because your application is running on a browser. So there is no as such use for the debugger for that purpose. If you want, you can use it. And one more option is that extension. If you want to install any code snippet to faster development for Angular purpose, you can install the extension. Behalf of in the your Eclipse, it is called a plugin. Here, because in Eclipse you can install lot more plugins, Tomcat, other server plugins, other test engine plugins, a lot more plugins you are installed in your Eclipse IDE. Same like functionality that VS Code is provide, you can install the extension. Here the word is called the extension. You can install that extension, that is a package. If you have to fast development your Angular application, there is a lot of extension is available. Angular 10 snippets, and auto closable tag. If you are to tags should be auto closable automatically, you can install that extension as well. Okay, so which extension we have to use required? Initially we don't require any extension, because a VS Code has a provide to give a code very easily to develop your application. If you require to develop your application very fastly, no need to write any simple code, then you go for that extension. It gives a template for your code and you can install in your VS Code. Which extension you require? Then I will send that document file on GitHub. Okay. Someone tell me that the theme is not be properly visible. Okay, Hamid. Okay. So okay, I can change that theme. Okay. Second, here the setting option. In the setting, you can change your VS Code theme as well. If you require the color themes, you can set according to that. So which theme you are required? I think, yes, I mean, are you comfortable for this or you are comfortable for this?
Light theme is okay for me.
Light. That is enough for you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all of you are comfortable with this theme? Hello, Anand, Kritika.
Yes.
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 Okay, so response is required. I told yesterday, so please giving the response. Whatever, you can mention the like button as well. No need to unmute yourself and give the response. If you press the action button, I also understand that things. Okay. Okay, move further. So this is a very short overview. It's very lightweight VS Code. If you are to create a one file, we will create a one file. You can create a file from the file, new file. Here, two options there: new text file and new file. New text file is created by default text file, and new file option is create your file with extension. But when we create a new file, you have to give the extension of that file. So when you use a new text file, it is by default created a text file, whereas new file create your appropriate extension file. So if you want to create here, shortcut is available for the VS Code. You can create here, click on that and create the new file, demo1.ts. Okay, so we create first TypeScript. Initially today we learn the TypeScript. So the TypeScript extension is TypeScript file extension is .ts. TS stands for TypeScript.